I am Philippe Jordan. I'm music director of the Paris Opera and the Vienna Symphony Orchestra. It was never a question about when getting conductor, because my father, Philippe Jordan, was a well-known conductor, especially in Switzerland and France. My mother was a ballet dancer, so music and theater, ballet, was always in our family. So I was very influenced by the work of my father when I was very small. Of course, I started to play piano, I started to sing, I played the violin, and always I was interested to do something around music and theater. I'd become a singer, a pianist, a composer, stage director. Everything was interesting for me, but at the end, conducting was the most interesting and satisfying. And I remember, I think I was 9 years old when I really wanted to do that and continue to do that. I think when I saw my father conducting concerts in Geneva or doing his first Walküre at the Seattle Opera, the music of Wagner has influenced me a lot. It was so strong, so dramatic, so powerful, and so true, so human. It is the most sincere music talking about human feelings in a big way, with a big orchestra, with great stories, great context, which probably has influenced me the most. The biggest challenge to play a piece of music, to conduct, to make an interpretation, I think the biggest challenge is to make a piece alive and to serve the spirit of a piece. Not only to play it as well and perfectly as it should be done, but as well to serve the score, serve the intention of a composer. So it's very important not to try to make something out of the score you like to make out. It's not important what you think about the score. It's important to find out what makes the score so interesting and how to bring this out, convince musicians to get it in a way which is to make this piece alive and to understand this piece immediately. Since I think that I try to serve as much the piece as possible, part of personality always stays there, so there's always a personal part and a way of interpreting a piece. I don't think that I do things differently than other conductors. It's very hard for me to tell myself I'm different than others. I think it's more a thing about how people see things, and indeed Wagner, my way of interpreting Wagner's music is probably a little less the traditional, heavy, overdramatic, exaggerating way where you try to serve a cliché of a German sound. Of course, I need to work on the language of Wagner, which is as well establish the German and Wagnerian sound. But the sound is not at the first importance. It's a way of meeting, of helping to understand. But I always try to look for the primary ideas of a piece, which is, in Wagner, the simple feelings, the psychology of a personality. I think it's up to other people to decide if I'm different than other conductors. There are similarities between watchmaking or watches and conducting somehow, because there is a part about precision, a part about fine-tuning, about balance, which is very similar when a conductor works with an orchestra, with different instruments, getting all the pieces and parts together. Also a part about timing, about time, because music plays in time. So how long, how short should be a piece? How much time do I still have to rehearse? How much music can I get done still at that time? But there's also a very artistic point, because watches are also about aesthetics. There's a very artistic side in watchmaking. I always have been different than my father. I always had a great admiration for my father, but when I was a young conductor, really young conductor, it was very difficult for me to find my own way and own personality, because his personality was so present, so that I had to go a different way, and I had to go in distance to him to really find my own way, my own personality. Now, after a certain time, you become so experienced and more confident, so that you can start to accept your background, yeah, your roots from your family, from what they bring, which is even a more satisfying part of an artistic biography. At my age, after 20 years now of experience in this job, I had pretty much a privilege to do basically the most I could do of the repertoire. Of course, there are pieces still missing, which I'm dreaming to do of, like the Ninth Symphony of Mahler, which I've never done, the Third Symphony of Mahler, or let's talk about opera, Boris Godunov by Mussorgsky. But basically, the overall of the repertoire I've done, and the more enjoyable it is to redo the pieces, and the more you do it, the more you grow with the pieces, and the more you can tell about it, and the more enriching it gets for you as an artist, but as well for the orchestra and the audience.